From the looks of it, you can see the sunset on the camera well before I can see it with my own eyes. That's fascinating. And then again, it might rebalance later. So, I guess it's time for a walkthrough because the sun's going down. Wednesday's my work from home day, so as soon as my work day's done, I can start in the garden straight away. Here is how the nursery's going. It looks pretty good to me. I'm really happy with it. And then over here, I'm still thinking seed starting station installment in this zone. I guess we'll find out what I end up actually doing. The hops are getting really close, like to the point where you can actually tell from here that they're getting really close. The wood chips are similar to what they were. I've slowed down on those a lot, but they're also not particularly intrusive anymore, as you can see. So, I guess I'll go ahead and show you I did a sale. You know, net 30 or whatever. I left a pen here. I'll take that back while we're at it. So I had a pickup today, which was excellent. It's my first ever, so I'm very excited. The sunchoke is starting to bud up here. A little bit yellow. There we go. My wood chip pile over here is still very Fraggle Rock Trash Monster-esque. The skirret went to seed and I let it. And it's still flowering, which is nice, because that's something that the pollinators can come and hang out on. The asters are getting ready. I have such aster abundance that I have to cut the stalks before they go to seed, and I still get a ton reseeding. It is really hard to get through here right now. The echinacea's doing good. Why is this so difficult? Ugh. I did get a chunk of the Joe Pie off, and that was really a fight. I got a ton of little root fragments that I'm really hoping will take, and also I got about 3, maybe 4 what look like could become small plants in time, but for the most part, and since the sun's going down, I'm going to collect up the things I left out yesterday. In this area, I'd really like to take the post hole digger to it again. Oh, sorry, I was just like getting the plant life out of my way. Alright, so cleaning up my tools from yesterday, because I finished well after dark yesterday with the last of the order prep. This definitely took longer than I thought right here. Got a decent number of peppers. I highly doubt that I'll continue to do much at all in the way of annual food production. Oh, there's some tomatoes in there that I could pick. Except for the stuff that reseeds itself. My expectation is to slowly take over the whole garden with little sunken pot sockets so that I can steadily increase my stock. The Jostaberry is this stick here, 2 sticks, 3 sticks, and the red lake currant is that bundle of sticks there. That's as tall as that gets. This is supposed to get about 8 foot. I do really want to trim this sucker back, because it is about 9 foot tall. Ay, the hollow stem type is a bit more height than, I don't even know the name of the other kind, but I do know I have hollow stem Joe Pye. More tomatoes in there with the plum. As you can see, as soon as the fence ends, the plum is getting eaten. I need more fencing. Oh, good. Here we go. That is New England purple aster. It's a deeper purple than it looks like on this screen, so I don't know if it'll pick up properly. More tomatoes forming in here. Bigger tomatoes here. Really need to pick those. Still got a handful of tools. This is good stuff. This is frost aster, I believe, although it might be, I need to double check, it could be calico aster. Positive ID on these is easiest during the bloom period, though the leaves help. The bloom period makes it definitive. I'd like to get that pile of brush out of there, My garden's so meandering, it's hella small, but it's so meandering that I sometimes forget parts of it exist, especially back here, which is primarily because the neighbors that scream at each other aren't my favorite thing to hang out next to. Very happy with how the, this is in my way, how these are taking over here. These thornless raspberries are taking very well. I'm sorry, they're screaming at each other again. So, the ones I relocated, the potted ones that came out of that, considering how aggressive raspberries can be even when potted, as far as growing out the bottom, I think I'm going to have the potted ones sunk in up here next to ones that are growing intentionally. I think that's the goal here. I have one more to dig up back there next to that pop of pink. And I'm hoping that I can save that as well, because that is the first bit of autumn joy sedum that has migrated from my neighbor's house to mine, and I'm honestly kind of happy about that. So I'm going to see if I can get that to transplant too, because it is so much inside the root ball of the raspberry that it's definitely a package deal. I'm not going to be able to get one without the other. So you can see that the old cold frame is all but fully dismantled. It's just a footprint now. It has become that shelf that I showed you and that ledge for sitting on and etc. over there. That's kind of an altar. I'm going to put my shovel and things down. Look at my mess. Yay, mess. Let's look at this instead. This is all of my early starts that need to get rooted in a damp environment. Sometimes I find that my methods for getting rootings settled can also lead instead to like root rot. I found my additional seeds. So my sea oats, I just planted a bunch of them in one tiny little pot. The idea being that they'll come up and I'll separate them out and put them into different pots. That's the same thing I'm doing here, These were really old seeds, so I was happy anything came up. I think they were dated 2013. Bunching onions. I didn't realize how good of a choice I made back then until more recently. So I'm going to start teasing out. I actually sowed the whole packet just in this container. So I'm going to start teasing those out and planting them out elsewhere. And yeah, I think this might possibly be a mulberry. Of course it would be a Russian invasive, but that little notch in that leaf is the first potentially identifying feature of an otherwise scraggly little stick. So, kind of hoping that'll fully identify itself soon. Got quite a lot going on here, and I got a lot of the bigger pots set into the ground. If my friend can bring me a bunch more of this 1 gallon size, then I'll be able to get a whole nother last row onto the nursery at the end here. And I think I'll do like a narrow path here and then hopefully 3 wide the whole way down. And if I can get it 3 wide the whole way down, I'll do 1 type of daffodil here, 1 type of daffodil there. Just kind of like hope for the best, I guess. So that is the plan. I keep tucking the bits that I have to pull off of the, I call it gillweed, ground ivy, which is all of that green area there is ground ivy. Tucking it into the wood chips in hopes that it'll take when I have to weed it out. That's what I've been doing, but the goal is to have this ground ivy just take over the wood chips. It'll be so soft, because it's already really soft under my feet. It feels so soft, but it's pokey. So once this starts to break it down and keep it more moist and start to rot the edges off of those splintery wood chip top pieces, then it's just it's gonna feel like a bed. And then this is a really pungent scent, so it tends to keep some of the more pesky bugs away. Like I've not had tick problems when growing that. Once that establishes around the edge of the fire pit again, because it was out pretty far, but the wood chips were more important right now, and it's a weed, so it'll grow back. Once it is, I want to start getting some more fine soil in between the stones. I don't want to risk drowning the plant, but I do fall between these rocks on a regular basis and kind of like pinch my foot, such as right here. As you can see, that's really not ideal like that, to have such a big gap in between. So I'd like to build the soil up in that way. This is it. I'd like to get down the cliff again, get some trees cut again, and again I pollard the trees and then just trim off the shoots as they come. It's a beautiful day. There's somebody down there on a boat. And now I can sort of see the sunset, but it looks a lot more intense on the screen. I hope you're having a good one. Bye!